Hey everyone, I'm getting started on this training for how to plan. The whole planning is a skill, and what I've recognized is that when I meet someone who says, I just don't have a lot of time, or is overwhelmed because they feel like they have a lack of time, that generally is a key indicator for me is that they don't have the skill of planning and prioritizing. So we're going to be talking about that in this training, and we will just go through the planner that we've created. And I think it's awesome, super valuable. Hey, Bethany. Hi, Brittany.
Hi, I'm pretend Elise today.
I think we're just going to get started. Yeah, so I'm just get started so that we can save time. Feel free to jump in with questions, or I might ask just to demonstrate some things. I'm going to share my screen with you. Someone's on the chat. Let's see, which one do I want here? Cool. All right. So we have this lovely planner. Can you all see it? Can you see it? Okay. So I'm going to go through pieces of this. This isn't the full planner, but some of the aspects of it that I think that you'll really like and find valuable. So you'll have this looking ahead, so you can put in major dates for life. You know, you have vacations scheduled, you have big events, whatever. You're able to put those in there for 2 years. Now this monthly planning, so this is a sheet that if you have gone through any of the merge training, you've seen something similar to this. We just put it in one sheet together, and I think it's very helpful for helping you to plan your next month. And you'll generally want to plan your next month like the last week of the, so for January, you'll want to be planning for that last week of December. So you're not like, oh, it's January, now I'm going to plan. So what you will do is you'll review your prior month's performance, and you'll want to review your sales tracker, and I'll show you where that's at. If you're not using a sales tracker, you want to start using that. And so just, you'll be listing what went well, and then what did I do to accomplish those wins? Because you really want to understand like the things that you're doing well. Like those can be clues to where your strengths are. It's clues to maybe what you enjoy doing. And if you're having success with that, you want to do more of it. What didn't go well, you'll want to analyze that. What got in the way of that, so that you can plan ahead the next time. So if you had certain things that didn't go well and you understand it's just not a good time to be doing calls when my kids are running around, right? And so next month, maybe you can plan ahead for that. Or like I was talking to Adrienne yesterday, and she was kind of having a block about doing some calls. And it was, for her, she likes when she does things, she doesn't like to have too many things going on. She likes to work in chunks of about 3 hours because she really likes to focus. So just knowing that, she can plan her schedule according to how she works best. And then you'll use the skill assessment, which I think most of you have seen, but it will be at the end of this planner, where each month you can just go in and reassess your skills to see if there's something that sticks out as far as what's holding you back. So if you're having a hard time planning, that might be the one you're working on. And you might work on it the whole month, or you might feel like I've got that down, I've worked on it a couple of weeks, I can move on, or maybe this is taking me longer than I thought. That's okay. But you'll want to do that skill assessment because you want to see progress in your business and in yourself. And then the next question, how will I learn, practice, or implement that? You really want to make a plan to do that. Am I going to take a couple of hours in a week and study that, practice that, do that with my mentor? Or am I going to, so just create the plan of how you're going to improve. And then I love this. So this is where you get to plan your goals. And I'm going to back up real quick and share a different screen with you. So I think this is really important to understand, is the difference between our goals and our vision and plans and stuff. So being able to really create the life that you want there's a few things that you need to have in place and that you need to understand how to do them. So vision, and we've talked to, those who have been in doTERRA, we've talked about this being your why, but this is really like the bigger, loftier thing that you're trying to accomplish. So one of my leaders, Kristen, she wants to be able to have enough income that when she's a grandma, she's there and she's present. She's able to take the time off to go do things with her grandkids because her mom's not able to do that. And so that's one of the reasons why she's trying to create residual income. So that would be listed as one of her whys, part of her vision. And you may have several things that really help motivate you. And so you want to understand there's generally not a date that's put to a vision. It's just what I'm moving towards. Goals are very specific. And there's a lot of people who stray away from creating goals. And I think the reason why is because they haven't created the skill, haven't developed the skill for not only setting goals, but accomplishing the goals. So just saying, I want to be diamond by the end of the year is great. And that would be a goal, right? Because it's specific, it's measurable. Is it attainable? You'll have to figure that out. And that's with your SMART goals. But the goal is what it is you want to accomplish. And you need to be able to know that you accomplished it. So it's not like, oh, I just want to build my team, right? Well, how do you know if you accomplished, I just want to build my team? You really don't. So goals are very specific. And you're working down this way. So you have your vision, and then you create a goal. And then this is the cool part. This is like the magical spiritual creation of something before you make it a physical creation. So this is where you are mapping out and thinking and being creative and let inspiration come. Like, how could I reach that goal? And you're really defining what it is that you are doing and also what needs to take place in order to reach that goal. And oftentimes in your planning, you may discover, oh, this is exciting. Like, I can see how I could actually reach that goal. You might, for instance, maybe it's a rank, and you start looking at the numbers and you start seeing how many LRPs generally come in, and maybe you're trying to reach elite or premier or silver or whatever rank it is, and you see that you're only certain amount short. And then you start thinking, well, how could I create that? Okay, well, if I had a certain number of classes or certain number of enrollments, or if more people did LRP, or maybe my leaders are doing classes, you start planning like how that could happen. And generally you get pretty excited about that when you do it right, because your plan should help you to see that it's possible. If you're setting a goal that's so big that when you start planning, you just don't see how it's possible, oftentimes that just means that it may not be realistic, or you just haven't found the creative spot to make it feel like I could actually do this. And you'll have different lengths of goals, right? You like have this week, what do I want to accomplish? What for the month do I want to accomplish? But these really should be measurable, and you need to be able to define what success looks like and know that you did it, right? And your goal could be, I just want to bring on a new builder this month. Well, how could that happen? Oh, I need to do business overviews. Well, who would I do them with? And you just start making the plans, okay? You'll also want to list what your constraints are. What is going to stop you from creating that? And you want to think ahead of the game with doing this. Athletes do this all the time. They will visualize, okay, this is what I want to accomplish. And then they'll think about, well, what happens when I get the side ache? Or what happens when that person hits me so hard and I just don't want to get up? They start thinking about the constraints. You plan ahead for those because you know they're going to happen. So you need to use your imagination and just think about, okay, what could go wrong? What would hold me up? So that you can put that into your plan. What am I going to do if this? What if I'm going to do if that? Or how can I avoid this from happening? You want to put that in your plans. And then you'll definitely want to share those with someone or some people, because then if they're going to hold you accountable or be asking you about it, you're more likely to do it, or they can help give you suggestions. If you're afraid of publishing that, then there might be something wrong with your plan and you're not feeling like maybe it's not attainable, it's more of a dream. So these are just 5 things that I would be thinking about, like when you are really trying to create your life. And this goes on like over and over and over. It's not just a one-time thing. Your vision might change, but it might not, you might be not revisioning every single week, but your goals for the week, you should like, what one thing do I want to accomplish this week? And how am I going to do that? And what might hold me up from doing it? And who can I share that with? My mentor, my spouse, cross-line, friend, something, right? And this is for life. So this is doTERRA, but it's anything for life, okay? So I hope that's all clear. If you have any questions, just let me, and this really is a skill. So this is great. You're going to take this and say, okay, I'm going to do this. And for most people, they might do it once or twice, and then it doesn't become a part of them and become a habit, right? So just know that one of your constraints is it's going to be hard to create a new habit of actually doing this. And that's okay. That doesn't mean like, oh, I'm just not good at it. I can learn this. This is pretty learnable. Okay, let me go back to the planner. Sure. Okay, so we're here with goals, right? And so goals are the what. It's the what I want to accomplish, what is measurable. And these are just suggestions that we've put here. It's not that you need to go in and make a goal for every single one of these. So you might be in a place where profit, how much you earn that month, is very valuable. Like that's something that motivates you. Maybe you need to earn $500 a month. So you may put that as your goal. That's what you're focusing on. Others might be, I am trying to reach this certain rank, and I know that I am short about this much PV. So you're setting a PV goal. You might have I just want to teach so many people this month. I'm not going to focus on like profit or sales. I'm just going to focus on the number of people that I can actually teach this month. And you'll write that in per month, and then you'll divide that by 4 and put that in for how many per week. You might have a retention goal. Maybe you're like, I've enrolled a lot of people, but none of them are doing LRP, or a few of them are. So you might set a goal for that. Or if you're working on your Power of 3 or a rank, you don't have to set all of these. These are just ideas for you on things that would help move your business forward. And you need to decide which one or ones those are. And then if there's other additional things, and these can be personal goals, like, and I want to exercise 3 times a week or whatever, like this gives you space for that. Or if they don't fit in here, just know that there's space for you to create those. Or it might be longer term goals. It's not for the month. You're putting in, okay, for this month, I want to reach this, but in 3 months, I want to be silver, and so you're able to have space to do that. And then you're going to break it down. You really do need to decide how much time you're going to put into doTERRA and commit to do that. So if that's 5 hours, 10 hours, 20 hours, 40 hours, whatever it is, you're putting that number. This is where I'm committing. And by planning, it will help you to see how much time you could have available to put into doTERRA. And in general, just to give you a kind of be able to math it out, you will divide that number by 2. And that should be the number of people you're trying to teach in a week. So if you're doing 20 hours a week, you're trying to teach 10 people that week. And that could be one-on-ones, that could be in a class, right? And you're trying to get 10 people there, set up one-on-ones with others that can't make it. And so it just gives you an idea of what really should be taking place with the amount of time that you're spending with doTERRA. Because you could say, I'm spending 10 hours and I'm on the computer doing Facebook, I'm looking for people, I'm making a list, I'm just doing all these things that aren't actually talking to people and teaching them. And so this just puts like the most important thing first, and making sure that that's what you set time aside for, and that your other activities are trying to support creating those appointments or creating those teaching opportunities with people. That is where you change lives, is when you are with someone and you're able to teach them. So that's helping you kind of map out some of the numbers. So let's just say I'm doing 10 hours a week or this week, and so my goal should be about 5. And you can decide how you're going to divide up those appointments. They could be new appointments, they could be membership overviews, they could be business overviews. Generally, when you're newer or you don't have a bigger team, they're going to be new appointments. Most of those, probably over half of them, should be new appointments. As people enroll and you need to make time for doing membership overviews, that might increase. And so you can put those numbers in there. And it's okay if you don't meet them. This is like something you're striving for. This would be the ideal, and we know that most of us fall short of the ideal, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't put it there. Okay, so, and then the next thing is fast forward. This is where we've kind of helped you put in there what are your constraints. So fast forward, and I didn't hit my goals. What happened? Why didn't I hit my goals? That's where you're thinking ahead and looking at your constraints. Fast forward, and I did hit my goals. What happened? And you're helping to create that plan of, oh, well, this is what had to take place and this is what happened in order for it to be successful. And what will it mean to me to reach this? And that's where you're kind of putting it back to your why. Like, what is this going to mean if you're able to do this? It might be it's just going to boost my confidence. It might be that I'm able to connect better. It might be that my income goes up. But you need to figure out what that is. And if there's a reward, like, celebrate. I'm going to get to take the day off and we'll go shopping or just hang out at the mall, or I'm going to watch that dumb, sappy movie, whatever. Just celebrate, make it fun. And then check in. How do you feel about these goals? And then just look over that. And do you feel good about your month? And if you do, great. If you don't, then you want to go back and see what you need to adjust. And this is just some paper that you can strategize in. And then you'll have your monthly calendar. I just recommend only putting like scheduled events or activities on here. So you might be, oh, we have this dinner party here. I'm going to try to plan a class here. But they're events that are already scheduled. And on this for me is key, is that you have, what is my top goal this month? The one thing that is what I'm aiming for. And it could be profit, it could be sales, it could be amount of teaching appointments that you've had. It really could be anything, but it helps hone you in on the activities during the week that you're doing are contributing to this one goal. And if they're not, you might want to reevaluate and say, oh, maybe I shouldn't be spending time on this because that's not going to help me to get to that goal. And then just noting if there's any team promotions or doTERRA promotions that are going on. So you remember that. Okay. Now the sales tracker is, for me, I think it's one of the most valuable tools that we have. And why I say that is because it gives you so much data to help you to understand where you're at and where maybe things aren't going so well, so you know what to work on. And it's data. So it's not just you thinking, oh, I'm not good at this, or I'm not good at that, or thinking, oh, I'm rocking at this, and you may not be rocking at that. This just gives you actual data to be able to go off of. And so what this is, and some of you have the Google Doc where you have the sales tracker, and I hope you're putting your numbers in, or you can put it in here. But every time you teach someone, you write it down. So Julie, I taught Julie this week, was there a sell or no sell? And you just put it in, sell. What was the order size? 200 PV. And she purchased the Home Essentials kit. Was it in a group or a one-on-one? This was in a one-on-one. And did I ask for referrals? Oh, no, shoot. I forgot to ask for referrals or to host, so I'm not going to check that. But I know that I still need to ask her for referrals or ask her if she wants to host a class. And then if she enrolled, I'm thinking, okay, oil camp, have I invited her to that? When's the next one? Is that the best way for her to learn? Did I set up a membership overview? Have I done a business overview? So it helps to track these people. And maybe you had somebody, I taught them, there was no sell. You know that, okay, is there follow-up that needs to go on with that? Or so how you use this, like after you start looking back and you're looking back at your last month's sales tracker and you notice, oh, I don't have anybody in my sales tracker. Shoot, I need to do something about that, right? Because doing this as a business is teaching people how to use essential oils. So if you don't have anybody listed here, you're really not building your business. It's not going to just happen. In fact, I just received an email from someone. She's like, yeah, I really have intentions of building this business and I'm just hoping that people will come to me. And it was just all about really wishful thinking. And so this just gives you clues. Like, am I building? So maybe I have like 5 people here. How many people actually bought something? Oh, most of them did. Hey, I'm doing good on that. But most of the order size was like small. They weren't enrolling with kits. And so, that might be something that I should be working on. Or I taught a lot of people, but not a lot of people enrolled. That will help me to see, oh, maybe I need to work on the sales presentation. Like I need help with that, or closing those sales. And so that gives you clues of what you can be working on just to get better, because this is just about getting better, seeing progress. And also, if like this is what they ordered, it's easy to be able to follow up with them on that. If you're not having people on LRP, you're looking here, like, are they connecting through Oil Camp? Am I doing a membership overview? I'm not. That's probably why my numbers are down. That's something I can work on. So this just gives you real good clues. And then there's also people that I taught a business overview. So most of us have the vision of creating a team. Like, we understand in order to create residual income and to create that financial and time freedom, we have to have a team. I can't do it all by myself. I have to have others who are doing this as well. Well, if you're not teaching people the business overview, it's most likely they're not just going to come and ask you like, hey, how can I do this business? And so if you're looking on your past month and you've done no business overviews, that should give you a clue on maybe something you could work on if that's one of your goals. And if that's part of your vision is creating a team, then you should be having people listed here. And that should be backup part of your plan of who am I going to talk to? How am I going to do that? Do I even know how to do a business overview? And you're just figuring out what the next steps are for you to be able to start doing business overviews. And then write their name down. What's their next step? Have I scheduled their first chat, their orientation with them? And that just kind of helps you to see what the process is. Okay. Now this is the fun part. This is what I think is super fun. And it's been taking me a while to develop this skill. And I've been using the planner pad. And that's what we've kind of copied over here because there's been so much research done with the planner pad on how to effectively be able to plan. So basically what this is it's a week spread that you'll get. So every week, I plan on Monday, but it'll kind of spread out like that in an 8.5 by 11. And I'll sit down on Sunday, and you can do this on Saturday or Friday just so that you're ready to go on Monday. And this top section here is categories of your life, basically. So Brittany, are you available to talk? Brittany, tell me, okay. You're okay, that's okay. I'll just start without you. So let's just say, for instance, Brittany's life consists of doTERRA, right? So she has a little category here, doTERRA stuff. I'm trying to build my business. She may also have, maybe there's some community service that she does. Maybe she has a calling in her church. Maybe she volunteers at the school, whatever. So maybe she'll just put service activities here. Brittany obviously has kids, so she might have something to do with family here. Like what categories of my life where I usually have a list of things that I want to get done with that. This might be like personal care, self-care, personal development. What are the things that I want to do here? It might be exercise, or I'm working on eating better, or maybe, I don't know, books that I'm reading. But everybody's life is going to be different, so this is why it's kind of left open to you. My categories that I usually have each week, I list here MBA, and then I list, each of my classes and what needs to get done that week. So tell me some of your categories of your life, Brittany.
Okay, so I'm a mom, and I'm a homemaker. I serve for the women's group in my church, and I'm a full-time student.
Okay, so Brittany might have school here. She might have her mom stuff. She might have like her church stuff. What was the other one?
Just cleaning the house.
Oh yeah, house stuff, right? So she might have a list of things, housework that she wants to get accomplished, right? And this is just a brain dump. We didn't name it brain dump, but that's basically what it is. It's most people who are feeling overwhelmed are feeling overwhelmed because they have this stuff going on in their head. And so it's taking up capacity, right? Just keeping it, like making sure the balls don't drop. So one of the activities is just getting it out of your head. And so initially you may have a ton of stuff that you end up listing here. But as you continue to do this over the weeks, it reduces down, okay? So Brittany's going to have school here. She's going to list out just dump it out, like all the stuff. She might have all of her classes and then listed under each of her classes, maybe the assignments that are due this week. And so she's going to have a good list of stuff here. For mom, she might have certain things with each of her kids that she needs to take care of. She might have kids that, this stuff for preschool or this something for this class. Like she might have that list that's here. For church, like, okay, I'm teaching here. I need to get this done. Or I need to contact XYZ people, right? And then for the house, it might be, okay, laundry. I need to get grocery stuff done. I need to get cleaning done. You have it listed out, right? Don't keep it in your head. It may seem like I know I have this stuff, but trust me, just dump it out. And on the other side of the page is the same thing. So you have like 7 slots to put 7 different categories, and you may not fill them all up. And maybe it's Christmas time, and so maybe one of your categories is like Christmas presents, and you're able to list out all your Christmas presents. This just gives you space because everyone's life's different, and they change to be able to do that. So each week, beginning of the week, I say Saturday, Sunday, generally, you will just list out your categories and do the brain dump and putting everything there. And then what you do after that is you'll go down to this to-do list. Well, actually what I do is I go and put in all of my appointments that are actually appointments. So maybe I'm teaching something here. I have an appointment at the school for this. I have class here and here, whatever. So you're actually putting in those appointments, right? And so it kind of gives you a visual of where the extra spaces are available. So now you know where you're actually committed, and then you also know where you have some flexible time. So if those who are working full or part-time, you're going to put in that time. I'm working from 8 to 12, and it's just boxed out, right? And so you start seeing this free time in these chunks. Then what you're going to do is you go up here, and you're going to start taking those brain dump things, and you're going to start filling them in and putting them as to-dos on these days. So you might be in school and you have certain things that have to get done by a certain day. So maybe you have a project or an assignment that's due on Tuesday. You'll probably be putting on Monday, that's a to-do. I need to get that done on Monday so that I can turn it in on Tuesday, right? So it starts to make some kind of sense. You'll have things like laundry that, okay, maybe I'm just setting up a schedule and I'm saying, I know on Tuesdays and Thursdays, that's when I'm doing laundry. And so you just put those in the to-dos. You're not assigning it a time, because you want to be kind of flexible also with your doTERRA schedule on when you could have an appointment or do a phone call. And so having to-dos, it just gives you the freedom to make those adjustments in your life. And you just start assigning those. And you might, the first couple of weeks, see that, holy cow, I'm not getting to all my stuff. And that's where you need to start prioritizing and saying, how important is this thing to do? Am I the one that needs to be doing it? Does it even really need to get done? Is it really that important? So there are some things that you might end up crossing off, especially, and I've seen this in mine, like they keep getting passed to the next week. They never really actually get done. And I start thinking to myself, I don't really want to do that. It's not really that important. So why don't I just take it off my list? I'm just not going to go do that. And so I cross it off, and it's like liberating to say, give me permission. I don't need to do that. Or it might be something like, okay, I'm feeling like I'm doing the majority here in our family, and I have a spouse. And you're able to show them, here's all the stuff on my plate. Is there anything on this thing that you could do that maybe you have time to do? And you're able to pass off things. And that was really helpful for me to be able to do that with my husband, because I was starting to feel like it's piled on. And when he saw all the stuff that was on my list of things to do, he was like, oh, I could do that, or I could do that. And it was really liberating for both of us. And instead of him being like frustrated that I wasn't available or that I was stressed, he saw where he could help because I'd actually mapped it out and put like all of these things. And so he took some of those things off my plate. You might have kids that could actually do things for you instead of, hey, you know what? My kids are capable. Maybe they could be doing that. So my daughter, maybe she could fix dinner that night. Just throw in some crock pot stuff, right? And so you start getting creative. Is there things that I can eliminate? Are there things that I could delegate out to someone else? And what are the things that I need to do, and being able to prioritize what are the most important? And you're tying those back to your vision and your goals. Because if you're doing things that aren't necessarily contributing to those and the life that you want, you might be able to get rid of them. Or you have a goal to get rid of them. So that's what you do. You start taking the stuff from up here in your brain dump and you start putting it down in these days. And so you have it mostly mapped out, and knowing you might have stuff that comes up, but you see it on the paper and you can see where it might fit, where you see, oh, like Tuesday, I don't have a whole lot of stuff going on. So I put a few more of my to-dos here because I feel like I could get more of that done. But I see like Wednesday, I'm just totally swamped. I have super, a lot going. So I'm not going to expect of myself to do those things. And I'm trying to think any other tips that are helpful, or questions for that. So these are in, you can fill in, like if it's at 7:30, you can put the 30, or it's at 7:15 or whatever it is. What I like to do is I like to also put in here, and just above here is what the meal is for dinner. So at the beginning of the week, I will just map out. And so it's not in my brain. Like I can look, everyone's like, what's for dinner? Oh, let me look. It's spaghetti. And so if I'm not able to start it, when my kids can start it, or my husband can start it, and he doesn't have to think like, what am I going to make? What's in the house? Like it's already been defined of what that is. That's one of my big ones. Anything else that might get in the way of planning well? Trying to think. Oh, so with doTERRA specifically, it's super important that you schedule time for the things that will help move your business forward. So scheduling the time when you're going to plan. So if that's Sunday, I know that it's around 5 o'clock on Sunday is mom's not available. She's planning. And so that's scheduled in is my planning time. And if I don't do that, my whole week is a mess. And then each night I'm just kind of reviewing that. I will go and see, oh, I have listed on Tuesday these certain things to get done. Does that still feel like it'll fit? If it does, great. If not, I might have to move a couple of my to-dos back because things have shifted around. I do everything in pencil so that I can erase it. It doesn't feel permanent. I can erase it. And so you're shifting those things around. But you'll want to schedule planning time and just do it and get it done. And then you'll want to schedule time where you're making those phone calls. But maybe you don't have a list. So you need to make time like to make a list. And so you're just chunking out. So I will actually just kind of chunk out like a circle of time. And I'll put in that's really what I want to expect to do. And then some of my other to-dos will have to fit around that. So the laundry is going to have to go later. It's fine. But the best time for me when I think and am willing and a little more motivated is usually around 9, 10 o'clock. Like it's just a good time for me. You might have a different time. You might have a kid that sleeps at a certain time. You'll just want to actually put that in as kind of an appointment with yourself. This is what I'm doing. Or you, so talking to Adrienne also, she's like, I really can't do more than one appointment a day. Like I just like mentally it's draining to me. And so she knows she can only do one a day. And some people have certain times a day when they're better. Like it might mess their whole day up if they do an appointment in the morning. They just feel that way. That's fine. Or in the afternoon or evening, whatever. And so you might just kind of highlight, if someone's willing to do an appointment with me, I have time on Tuesday and Thursday at 5 o'clock. Those would be my ideal times. And so when you're calling and talking to people, well, I have time on Tuesday or Thursday at 5 o'clock because you've tentatively scheduled that those would be appointment times. And that will just help set you up for success. Or if you're setting it, if you're sitting there making calls, you have your planner there available and it's all mapped up and like, okay, I have free time here, or I have free time here, or I have some time in the evening over here. And because you planned and it's mapped out, it gives you the freedom to be able to schedule appointments, or to know that I could schedule a class. If somebody wants to host a class, that I have the freedom to do that. Okay, so enough about that. At the top, you can, just as a reminder, what is my major business goal this week? Maybe I want to have 3 appointments this week, right? That's just my one thing. If you have a personal goal, you can write that in, and the skill that you're working on. Right here, and I love this, is who are my top 10 contacts? So at the beginning of the week, you were writing these down. Like, oh yeah, I haven't talked to Sherry. Oh, I got that referral from so-and-so. Oh, I've been meaning to talk to her. And you're just putting the list of people here. And you might go back and look through your past days of planners, weeks of planners, and you might have forgotten someone. And so you put these are my top 10. So when I'm sitting down to call people or to email or to text or whatever, I already have a list and I don't have to take time to do that. And I will do that like, oh, I don't have time to talk to her this week. I'm going to put her on next week. And just know that you can put those lists there. And then customer service calls. So you're looking at people who are part of your team that maybe you haven't reached out to in a while. Just put them on here. So when you have time, you could be waiting for something in line that you could just go ahead and text those people. Hey, how's it going? Whatever. How are the oils? Do you have any questions? And that's just a really quick way that you can keep your business going. And then business overviews. Who do you intend to reach out to this week? And then this is just where you can do your check-in. Your goal of, I was going to spend 10 hours at the end of the week, put, I only spent like 6, or I spent like 20. That's crazy. My family's going to kill me. Whatever. Just so you can put what you would want to do this week and then what actually happens. And these are just those helpful tips for scripts that we're all learning. Usually what I do for people is set up a quick appointment. And so you can kind of have those on hand, just quick reminders of some of the scripts. So that's planning. In the end of this, there will be a master contact sheet where, like, if you get referrals or a name comes to mind, you can just put those people there. You'll have a master list of all the people that you've enrolled so that you're keeping track of where they're at, and also your teammates. Anyway, that will all be in there. So any questions about planning or things that might hold you up? Okay, so for you who have people on your team, this is not a skill that most people have. Usually high performers have this skill. So if you have people on your team that they don't seem like they're high performers, they're not like enrolling 20 people a month, generally there might be, this is a skill problem with planning. And so recognize that when you have someone on your team that's like, oh, I'm just so busy, or I'm feeling overwhelmed, or I didn't get to that, that could be a clue to you that you might need to help them see that and address that, and teach them how to plan, how to create success through planning. And so not only for yourself, and I promise you this is going to take some time to get into. It's taken me probably like 4 months to actually get into like the habit of doing it. So it may not be a real quick, okay, I'm going to do this and I got it. And some of you it might be. But even if it's not, don't give up on it, because this, if you can get this down for the rest of your life, it will serve you very well. And then it's easier for you to teach that to your leaders if it's something that you are doing or attempting to do. All right. Any questions, Bethany or Brittany? Okay, cool. Well, thank you for joining. My challenge to you is to, I think Elise posted the January one. I encourage you to print it out and start working on that habit of planning. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Stacy.
You're welcome.